Bernadette Romero called Steve on Your Side because she's been waiting.
I called because I was concerned for my mother.
Waiting for a water heater.
The puddle of water was right here.
Back in July, her 75-year-old mom paid Jurassic Home Services $6,500 up front to replace her water heater, which they said needed replacing, and remove her galvanized pipes in the basement, replacing them with PEX. Again, this was back in July.
It's the last day of October.
Yes.
Do you have a new water heater?
No.
3.5 months later, the job's not even half done. Sure, the PEX is mounted to the ceiling, but not connected to anything. And the old water heater is still sitting there.
Been several appointments that they've either no-called and no-showed, or they've called and rescheduled. There was just an appointment back in October 22nd that they didn't show up for, and they didn't call. We had to call them.
Bernadette's tip to Steve on Your Side came in the same day as Jolene Richardson's. Jolene says she paid Jurassic Home Services $6,500 up front too to do some work on her chimney flue back in June. She says the day the company was supposed to do that work, they called and canceled because of a root canal. She did some research in the meantime and learned the business has an F rating from the Better Business Bureau and saw complaints on online review sites about Jurassic Home Services taking cash up front and not getting work done. So she called and tried to cancel the work and has been fighting to get that $6,500 back for the last 3 months. Steve on Your Side looked into Jurassic Home Services, which used to go by Jurassic Air LLC. We found 3 judgments against Jurassic and its owner, Ronnie Cordova, each complaining of a similar problem. They paid up front for work that wasn't completed.
Typically, especially for HVAC services, it is not usual to pay up front to have the entire thing installed and to pay for all of the work before it's done.
Megan Compton is with Denver's chapter of the BBB. She says while you may pay a contractor for a service call to your home or a small deposit for the work ahead of time,
the risk of paying up front for these services is that the work isn't done yet. You're really putting your trust in the person who runs the business that they're going to do what they say they're going to do.
Speaking of trust, I called Ronnie Cordova.
We just got a little bit behind on a lot of work.
He says a number of things, especially staffing, caused him to get behind on business and now commits to keeping a better schedule. And he says he's changing his policy on upfront payments.
I'm going to make a new policy now that we're going to start taking half up front and then half when we're complete.
And if you don't believe his words, maybe his actions say more. This morning, his crew was at the Romero home, finally installing that water heater.
What's your reflection on this whole experience?
Just do better, man. That's all we have to do, and we just have to be a better company.
So as for Jolene Richardson, as soon as I got off the phone with Ronnie Cordova last night for the first time, she says that he drove to her house and handed her $6,500, her full refund in cash. Now, along with not paying for these services up front, the BBB says you should also make sure that you get 3 quotes on every job and make sure that when you do sign a contract that it spells out the scope of work and that's going to be done and also the schedule of that work. And if you have a consumer problem, send us an email. The contact info is steveonyourside@9news.com. I'm Steve Stager, Steve on Your Side, 9 News.
I'm glad he did the right thing because that doesn't always happen.
It doesn't always happen. And, he was very quick to correct these things. He said he was going to get the Romeros on the schedule the next morning and drove up to Longmont to change things. It took a phone call to get there, but it got there, and it comes with a promise that to do business a little bit differently. But you could save yourself a lot of headache by doing just some of this work up front, making sure that you're researching companies ahead of time before you sign that contract, before you give them any money to do any work, and getting those quotes to make sure that the work actually needs to be done.
A phone call from Steve Stater is a powerful thing.
Yeah, every now and then.
We love to see it.
Steve, thank you.